Okay, I've just clicked record, so that should be shared at the end. Hi, Goober, welcome. Right. So give it a couple more minutes. Slowly starting to creep up now, the participant. Okay. Just double checking, you can't see the because I've got your screens on my right hand side. Can you just see the presentation? Perfect. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome. Okay, we'll get going. So, welcome everybody to the Teaching Assistant Pathways webinar with LMP Education. My name is Amber and I'm one of the sales managers here at LMP. I'm joined by one of our tutors, Ria, who is on the panel today, and also George, who is from Anspia, one of our partners who delivers the TDAP program. So these guys are here to talk you through different elements of our teaching assistant program, and obviously it's teaching assistant awareness day. Welcome to everybody who is either a teaching assistant with us, a teaching assistant that's interested in one of our programs, or a Senko, or perhaps even a principal. Welcome to you all. Just a few housekeeping rules. We do encourage lots of questions. I can see that people are putting things in the chat. You will also find a question and answer tab as well. So if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, please do direct your questions to there, and our panel will be able to answer those during the question and answer session, which will take place at the end of the presentation. This is going to be recorded, so don't worry if you miss any information. We will be sharing it with everybody after the presentation. So just wanted to start with a lovely little quote that I came across the other day, which is very apt for the day, but obviously every day within schools, in the heart of every classroom, teaching assistants ignite the spark of learning. And I thought that was quite a nice intro into what we're going to talk about today, which is our pathways. So starting off with our level 3 programme, we offer 3 different pathways within the teaching assistant world. So we have our sports pathway, our SEND focus pathway, and our standard teaching assistant programme. Now, this programme can range from 14 to 16 months, and that's how long you would be on programme and in learning with us, or if you're already on our programme, that's how long the duration of your course is. So just looking at the pathway as a whole, we are currently looking into what it means for somebody coming into a programme at level 3 and where that can take them in terms of apprenticeship. So before you come onto programme, we will assess your knowledge, skills and behaviour. We'll also look at your existing maths and English skills. That's obviously done through our initial assessment platform, BKSB, where you'll do some quick 10-minute assessments on maths and English, and also we'll ask for evidence of that maths and English, whether that's at C grade or above. So in terms of entry requirements and eligibility onto the programme, we would need to see evidence of that maths and English. But don't worry if you don't have those. We do have a functional skills team that will support you to gain those qualifications alongside your teaching assistant programme. So entry level 3, progressing on to level 4, which is the HILTA. We currently offer that at LMP Education, and we're offering a special kind of offer for our teaching assistants. And if you enroll onto our level 3 programme, whether that's the sports teaching assistant or SEND teaching assistant programme, we will fund your level 4 for you free of charge. That usually costs 595 plus VAT. So that's obviously quite a big saving. And it's obviously a great progression route for the level 5, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But the level 5 is due for release in January, and it's obviously a natural progression route for anybody doing their level 3 currently, or anyone who's got their level 4 already. Following that, the Institute are going to release the level 6 non-degree route into teaching, so you can get the QTS status, and that's due to be piloted in September next year, which is obviously really exciting. So as you can see, you can kind of go from a level 3 all the way up to QTS on apprenticeships from next year. So really, really exciting, and obviously encourages that pathway of learning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass over to Ria, who is going to talk you through the milestones of the level 3 qualification.
Hi everyone. So as Amber said, I'm one of the TA tutors with LMP. So once you've completed your enrolment, you will be allocated to one of the TA tutors, and it's our role then to kind of support you from that first day until your endpoint assessment. Now, during your time on programme, you'll cover 6 milestones in total, and that will involve you writing assignments, doing professional discussions, collating evidence from your practice, so photographs of activities, assessments that you may do in the school. I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of each of those milestones. So milestone 1 is all around the role of the TA. So you're going to gain that understanding of your role and what your role and responsibilities are, and why your role is so important within that classroom of supporting the children's needs. Milestone 2 is all around ensuring safe practice. So making sure that that learning environment is safe for the staff and yourself. We will cover topics such as safeguarding, health and safety, supporting the physical and emotional well-being of children, as well as kind of you gaining that understanding of the policies and procedures and legislation that underpins all of that. Next slide, please, Amber. Milestone 3 is one of my favourites. So this one really kind of delves into those theories that underpin child development. So why and how children learn. Now, as we know, like children learn at different stages, but there are researchers that date back like years ago that have done kind of research and experiments, and we still use that in practice now. You will cover behaviour strategies, looking at, again, theories that underpin those behaviour strategies that are used in the classroom, kind of focusing on the proactive approaches of intervention, so how to deal with those more challenging children within the classroom to try and diffuse any incidents. Milestone 4 is all around the tools to succeed. So those tools that you are providing for the children to succeed in their learning environment. So this will bring it back to kind of different strategies to support learning, including interventions, including looking at children's like EHCPs and seeing what they need individually to make sure that they are succeeding and the environment is inclusive for them. You will look at how technology supports learning and kind of pros and cons of using technology, because as we know, in society, we use technology massively. Milestone 5, sorry, Amber. Milestone 5, we really kind of delve into the national curriculum and how it's used in the school that you will be in. Now, a lot of schools like use the national curriculum, but then implement their own curriculum, and that's absolutely fine. We make sure that you've got an understanding of both. Now, we look at the curriculum and how that's used to plan and deliver that learning content for the pupils in the school. And then the second part of milestone 5 is where you will look at the assessment methods. So how you are making sure children are meeting those expectations, whether it be observations, checklists, whether it be spelling tests, exams, etc., depending on the age range you work with. Then milestone 6 is where we really focus on your endpoint assessment. So your endpoint assessment you will know about from day one when you've enrolled. And we talk about your endpoint assessment in every single session that we have. So you will be like really confident with knowing what you're going to do, what you need to do, and how to get there. So we have so many learners going through EPA all the time. So we know how to prep every single learner and how to push you all to strive for that distinction. So we will do mock discussions, and you will be observed a minimum of twice in practice. And then once we feel that you are ready, the tutor, you and your employer, we then can enter you into your EPA, which involves, thanks, Amber. So your endpoint assessment consists of 2 elements. So you will be observed in practice for 90 minutes and then have 20-minute Q&A afterwards. So that's the first component. The second component is a 90-minute discussion, which is underpinned by your portfolio of evidence. So they will ask you questions on kind of safeguarding and behaviour strategies that you use. Now, when you do your endpoint assessment, you can pass this with a pass, merit, and distinction. So to get a distinction, you need to make sure that you pass all the criteria, get all the pass criteria and 100% of the distinction criteria. To achieve the pass, you must achieve the 100% of the pass criteria. And to get a merit, so for example, if you got a distinction in your observation and a pass in your professional discussion, that will bring it to a merit, or vice versa. There is the option that there is chance that you may fail one element. If you do fail the observation or the professional discussion, we support you further to retake that. So don't worry. But just to reassure you, we don't have many fails at all. In fact, I kind of find we have the more distinctions coming through on the TA pathway and the SEND pathway. So if you do have any questions about the TA pathway, the content or endpoint assessment, please direct them into the Q&A box and we'll address them at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. I'm going to talk you through the SND part of our qualification. So how it differs to the standard TA programme that Ria just spoke through was we have additional workshops. So these additional workshops will cover various different topics, but from an SEND point of view. So the first workshop will be looking at the SEND system. So you'll look at the overview of the SEND system within the country. You'll look at key legislation such as the SND Code of Practice. So the quality team at LMP Education have lots of experience working in SEND. So it comes from a place of experience within roles, and we aim to teach that through the duration of the programme. So as Ria said, looking at EHCPs and the referral process, the session of that workshop focuses on understanding what SEND is and how to implement those code of practices. Like Ria mentioned, if you do have any questions about these, please pop them in the Q&A and we'll cover it at the end. The workshops are delivered very regularly. These workshops are delivered by Microsoft Teams or Zoom, and they will be recorded and will be accessible for people if you are currently in class when they're taking place, or you've not got the capacity to do them. They are readily available for our learners. Workshop 2 will cover Safe and SEND. So it obviously looks at a lot at safeguarding and safe practices within SEND context. And what we do is look at how you apply them in your role. So it will cover things like de-escalation techniques, transitions, biological and environmental factors that can impact SEND students. So it obviously focuses a lot on providing participants, learners, with strategies for making challenging situations and decisions, and understanding what trigger SEND students. The de-escalation part is obviously necessary to support SEN students. So it's really important that we cover these topics during the programme. Moving on to the third, it will look a lot of curriculum and SEND, and obviously how we alter curriculum, national curriculum to suit SEND needs. So it will obviously look at the importance of creating accessible and supportive learning in that environment, and the use of technology, just like Ria mentioned, and how we can engage SEND students. It will also cover embracing diverse learning styles and preparing students for diverse societies. Workshop 4 looks at innovative assessments. The workshop delves into how assessment methods can be adapted for children with SEND, and it also highlights the limitations of traditional assessments and the importance of tailoring assessments to meet the needs of diverse students. So really just looking how teaching assistants can be adaptable and how you can apply that theory in your own work and being practical that way. And then the final workshop will look at SEND milestones and strategies. So it focuses on understanding the expected milestones and how that differs to mainstream. And it will also look at different types of SEND, such as autism and ADHD. So obviously you can see it covers quite a breadth of topics. And what I'm going to do now is introduce you to George. And George is from a company called Anspear, and we have access to their teaching assistant development program. So with LMP Education, you have access to this fantastic platform that covers a range of topics such as autism and ADHD. And I'm going to pass you over to George now, who's going to be able to explain all of that to you.
Thanks very much, Amber, and welcome. Hello to everyone. We're very pleased to be given the opportunity to be part of this afternoon's webinar, and we've enjoyed what I think both feel is a very productive partnership over the past few years, and we do hope that the special access that LMP provide to our additional training resources will help you right the way through your course, milestone by milestone, and I would hope make some sort of contribution to your endpoint assessment. If I could have the next slide, please. So who are we and where do we fit in, really? We've been working using technology to meet all sorts of educational challenges for over 30 years. And particularly over the last 20 plus years, we've worked on a vast collection of programs with teaching assistants. And as it says on the slide, it's well over 150,000 teaching assistants we've helped to develop professionally. And we have a digital platform which is dedicated to professional development and learning. And it's available both offline on smart devices, mobile phones and tablets, both Apple and Android. And it's also available on the web. So what we'd like to feel is that you can get convenient access to the learning materials when and where suits you. And you really can use dead time. You don't have to feel that you're going to have to settle down at a computer with wired connectivity, because your device will give you access offline wherever you are. And we have found over the years that this has been particularly useful for teaching assistants who have very busy lives, mixed and complex responsibilities, both family and work, and so that they can pick up and use very short periods of time to make learning gains. When I say short, I really mean short. 5 or 10 minutes can give you an opportunity to do something which is surprisingly constructive. And we try to make sure that things are both engaging and involving, so they're well illustrated. There are bits of video and audio in certain courses, and there are plenty of ways in which you are asked to take part, if you like. There's plenty for you to do, and little assessments, quizzes, and other challenges. If we could have the next slide, please. Why are we so interested in supporting TAs? Well, there are a series of things there. You are really terribly important. And I would bring a few things to the fore on this. One is that I personally was a teacher an embarrassingly long time ago, but I have developed, particularly in the last 20 years, an extraordinary respect for what the contributions that TAs make in so many ways in schools, and also their thirst for, and I rather suspect this includes you, otherwise you wouldn't be here this afternoon, in trying to be better at your job. I think I'm probably in an environment where I'm not going to offend too many people when I say teaching assistants are miles better to work with on professional development projects than teachers, and just off the scale in terms of dealing with head teachers who really can be very, very tricky. So congratulations to you all. We actually have a number of people who we work with, and one of my close colleagues who's much involved in this is a former TA, and I have huge respect for her and as I say, for all of you. The other thing is that we have noticed, although it's getting a lot better now, and congratulations to LMP for their significant contribution in terms of giving opportunities to TAs, but still too often I speak to people who lead schools or multi-academy trusts who say, yes, we're terribly aware of the fact that we don't give as much recognition to the contribution of TAs, nor give them the kinds of opportunities that they deserve so that they can further their professional ambitions and make a greater contribution. So it's a real privilege to be able to be part of this kind of program. Next slide, please. So the Teaching Assistant Development Program, what does that entail? Apologies for that interruption. I'm not quite sure that was one of my colleagues ringing me from somewhere noisy. We will get back to the important bits of the Teaching Assistant Development Program. It is inherently flexible and personalized and contextualized, because what it tries to do is to give you the opportunity to learn more and, if you like, reflect your particular setting. And one of the ways it's personalized is it starts with a diagnostic survey, which asks you to respond to a series of statements. And in the light of that, tries to give you some ideas of which courses might be most convenient or most helpful to you. So there's a degree of personalization. What I also want to say is that a great deal of work's been gone on behind the scenes at LMP to try to map 65 courses which have been specially chosen to support this course, so that they can be mapped to the various milestones, so that you will be given support in using our courses in the most constructive and helpful fashion, so that they will fit in with what you are learning as part of the course at the right time and in a way that's makes as much sense as possible. In addition to this, and I'll come on to how seriously some of the previous learners on LMP courses have taken this, we have what we call tailored learning pathways. And the idea is that we've put together groups of courses which form a coherent whole and can really help people to plan their development and gain a greater sense of satisfaction with what they've achieved. And to recognize the effort that's been made, we've actually got an arrangement with the University of Buckingham to provide certificates for each of those learning pathways, so that you will have the opportunity to gain, and in addition to your level 3 apprenticeship, you will have the opportunity to gain some university certification. These unfortunately don't count in any particular way towards any other kind of qualification, but they clearly are going to be very attractive things for you to use as you seek promotions or different roles. Could we have the next slide, please? So the kind of pathways we have, we've got two particular ones which are listed here: essential teaching assistant, advanced teaching assistant. And the idea is that you will be able to progress through from one, finish one and move on to the next. And in addition, there are a number of other ones which are not listed here, but cover things to do with SEND and inclusion, which look at all sorts of other aspects of the kind of contributions you make through the supporting of teaching and learning, and of other, actually quite a lot of pastoral issues for which you are absolute specialists. Could we have another next slide, please? Now, this was actually something that was posted on the 7th of September. But it is quite an extraordinary achievement that one of the LMP learners completed 92 courses. And I can assure you that is really very impressive. But I think it's quite common, and Ria may be able to support this, that completing 10, 20, 30 courses is really very common. And it does give an opportunity for you to celebrate an additional form of success, and to make it quite clear how committed you are to becoming better at your job, and how, if you like, multi-talented you've become. But I want to all the time emphasize that the idea is not that this is separate from the level 3 apprenticeship course. It is there to complement and supplement all the good things that you're getting from your tutor and the various sessions associated with the course, and your reflection of your own practice and your, if you like, implementation of your new skills in your own setting. So this is all about trying to make your overall experience as productive and enjoyable as possible, and equip you better for the future. I hope that makes sense. And if there are any questions, I'm very happy to answer them at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, George. I know that the majority of our apprentices here at LMP have had the benefit of using the Anspear product. So yeah, thank you very much for that further insight. We're going to dive into the level 5 a little bit now. So it's a brand new qualification that we're going to be delivering in January. And ultimately, it's your progression route from the level 3, the level 4, higher level teaching assistant. And ultimately, this program is here to further your learning, enhance your learning, and to take you on that trajectory to becoming either a qualified teacher or just a very experienced teaching assistant. So the program is the equivalent to a foundation degree, which is obviously very desirable. And it offers teaching assistants the opportunity to specialise in a specific field. The reason being is that this course, this level 5, heavily focuses on SEND, which is fantastic when you look at the Anspear product or the additional CPD courses that are in that to do with SEND. It's a great bolt-on to the programme. And obviously, as I mentioned previously, the level 5 will be a natural progression route for anybody who is doing currently or wants to do the level 3 SEND pathway and the level 4 SEND pathway. So just to take you through some kind of key highlights of the programme, it's going to be a 24-month programme. The release date is January next year, but we are currently generating a waiting list, which has been very, very popular so far. And what we will do is share the details on how, if you are interested, you can get some more information, or perhaps even join the waiting list yourself. As I mentioned, it's a level 5 apprenticeship. It's equivalent to a HND degree. It's SEND focused, so it supports SEND and the curriculum being specialised around SEND. You'll be learning on the job. It's exactly the same process as a level 3, and the tutor will be able to guide you through the competencies of a level 5 qualification. It's obviously great if you've previously done a level 3, because going on to the level 5, it will give you that kind of prior knowledge to give you a good platform to go on from there. And just like the level 3, it is funded by the apprenticeship levy. So it is no cost to the individual or the school. It is paid through the centralised levy pot from your parent organisation. So if you are already enrolled onto a level 3 programme and you're perhaps coming to the end of that, and you want some more information about our level 5 programme, our email address is just there. And if somebody could pop that in the chat for me as well, that would be fantastic. And you can email this email address, and you can get some more information on our level 5. We've also released a bit of news, a blog, if you like, on our website that you can take a look at, that has more of an in-depth insight into the level 5. If you are looking to become a level 3 teaching assistant on one of our pathways, you can also email the info at email address. If you are joining us from one of our partner multi-academy trusts, please do contact your head office to find out who your account manager is, and they can obviously guide you through the next steps there. But what we would do is obviously go through an enrolment process with you, and be able to commence you on your level 3 programme, or level 4 if you're interested in doing the higher level teaching assistant. But otherwise, if you would like some more information on our level 5, as I said, please do email the email address there, and please do put any questions into the question and answer box. We're now going to go to the panel and ask some questions. And if I could start with you, Rhian. One of the questions that we've had are, how are the sessions delivered? So are they remote? Are they face to face? How does that work?
Yeah, so we obviously work with the learners and the employers. Now, we do kind of a bit of like hybrid delivery. So some content will be delivered online via Teams and some will take place face to face. Now, we do meet every 4 weeks. So that is a requirement and the expectation of the apprenticeship. So these sessions are pre-booked with your tutor. So if I met with a learner today, I would plan that session 4 weeks. Now, we obviously all know how busy schools are and we know how kind of things change. So we are very flexible and adaptable and can change that session as long as it's booked in as soon as possible. I just kind of think communication is key between the tutor and the learner, but it's a mixture of both. And as I say, like there are the different assessment methods. So assignments, professional discussions, observations, collating that evidence from practice as well.
Thank you, Ria. And in terms of functional skills, if somebody had to do those functional skills alongside their programme, what might that look for them? How might that look for them in terms of their workload, and how would they navigate that in an apprenticeship?
So everything is recorded on your e-portfolio that you'll get access to. Now, when you do your enrolment, you all complete like BKSB assessments. So they are an indication of what level you are working at to us. So what we need to know, the areas we need to know that you need further support with. So if you needed maths and English, we would support you with developing your knowledge in those. So LNP now have webinars that we have for functional skills, and they are a brilliant resource. Like I've worked with other providers and they don't provide that level of content to support with that element. So say if you were kind of not very confident in ratios, we can direct you to attend a webinar on ratios, and then we would set you further tasks around that and then we'd still continue using BKSBs as well. And then when you are ready for your exam, we do like a mock test, and if you pass that, we can put you forward for the exam. And the same for the English. We work together on that as well, focusing on the areas that you need support with. We do have a functional skills team as well. So if you need further support with functional skills, we can obviously get the LSA team is what we refer them to. You can refer into them and we can request further support to support you with that as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Ria. And one of the questions I've had is, how long would it take to become level 5 qualified? So if you went on the entire pathway, and that would be from level 3 to level 4 to level 5, the level 3 takes around 16 months maximum. The level 4 can take anywhere around 9 to 12 months. The level 4 is very self-led as opposed to an apprenticeship. So depending on your kind of workload, work rate, you can achieve that between 9 to 12 months. And then the level 5 will be 24 months. So in total, you're looking at around 4.5 years to become level 5 qualified, which is actually, when you think about it, not too bad when you go to university for 3 years and you do a qualification that way. I've just seen in the chat that everybody's asking for the slides. This will be sent out, the recording of the session, along with the slides. So everyone will get access to that and a copy of that. But there's one more question that I have for you, Ria, and that's around off-the-job training. So with the Ansphere product, can we offset some of that off-the-job training with those qualifications?
Definitely. So what we've actually done now in like the remodeling of our delivery is every kind of task that we set. So say if it's the safeguarding task, we've actually now linked and directing learners specifically to modules on Ansphere to complete. So, but then obviously they can kind of do self-led learning as well on Ansphere. So if they do have an interest in, or they've got a child with autism, for example, they might just independently access Ansphere and complete the understanding autism training. That is classed as off the job as well. So any additional training on Ansphere.
Great, thank you, Ria. And thank you everybody for your time this afternoon. As we mentioned, the session was recorded, and it will be sent out to everybody who registered for the webinar along with the slides. And as we mentioned, please do email info@LMP Education if you have any questions. Thank you, Ria and George, for your time this afternoon. It was really insightful. And happy National Teaching Assistant Day, and I hope you all have a brilliant afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.